Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the Tangle lug from CZT Lam Kwong Khiam. I hope I got that close. All right. This is another neat grid pattern. I think it's stuck in my head. No, sorry. Well, okay, maybe it is. But as I was just, looking around and I just checking some different sources that I look at for cool tangles. This one popped out at me. And you will see why. It's not hard. And I like I said yesterday, I know there are those that don't like grid patterns. It's okay. This one's fun. Another one that it looks very intricate and complicated, but it's not so much. All right, and I will tell you right now, what you saw at the beginning, which you will see me create here. You can decorate these however you want. So, because I'm looking at going, yeah, Mom won't like this one because it's too much, like lots of filling in. Although when we first, because the joke in our sessions is because Mom doesn't like Knightsbridge, because when we first learned it, and I don't know if, well, whether they existed or not, we were not aware of bigger nib pens. So we're filling in, Knightsbridge with the, an 01. Yeah. It's just funny. All right. So, grid pattern. Now this one, just to beware. So this is going to be one box. Now you could, of course, have this and that's it. But if you want to put it in a bigger grid, I only say beware because I've made this mistake before, or it's not really a mistake. I've created this problem for myself before. I was starting to say that and then I changed my mind. The challenge is if you, because this is a bigger grid, we're going to use all 4 of these, not just one. So what I have done in the past is, I create a grid and then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That's right. It takes up this much room. The one pattern is a 4 square in and of itself. So I was like, well, if I'm going to fill in all these, well then that, and you'll see that in a moment because I did play with it. Where I did what I'm going to do now in each of these boxes. So let's just get to it. So we have this, but it's not finished yet, this grid. Because we're going to put diagonal lines through just a big X through the 4. Okay, because again, it's a 4 square grid pattern. Maybe that's a good way to term it. Oh, okay. Next. And after you get this set up, all that we're going to use is C-shaped curve lines. So the best way, as I was doing this, and looking at the step out, I decided you can play with it however you put this. So I'm looking at this side of the box and the vertical horizontal lines, not the diagonal. So in this section, I'm going to go about halfway to about halfway. I don't normally mark things like that, but for my explaining, I'm thinking I should. All right, so we're going to do a nice C-shaped curve line. Kind of like that. And we'll do that in all of the boxes. And so it's almost like I'm kind of like leaving an equal space between the curve line I'm making and, and in this big triangle, I guess. I'm trying to think of, let me back up in my head. The way my brain works is it's almost like I have to have these, I find these like mantras or things that goes like, oh, halfway to halfway. And then I'm just guiding myself along the way, and I have just this picture. So that's what I'm trying to explain. So I apologize that sometimes it comes off, I don't know, like I'm like I'm a dingbat. No. That's the only word that came to my head. And I don't care. I'll wear that proudly. Because there's a method behind my madness. There's a reason. There's a reason for everything. All right. Next, we're going to connect these, what we just did, with more C-shaped curved lines. Now, when I'm looking at the step out, okay, so side note, as I'm reading, I think that Lam is maybe, because I know in some cultures, they use last name first. And in the post, she's referring to Kwong Khiam, and that's it, and the Lam part isn't there. That's just my guess. So anyway, I'm just gonna say in the step out, little sidebar that I didn't probably need to go down, but I like to just share what's in my head. And I hope you don't mind. All right. What I noticed was this seemed to be higher. Let's see if I can do that. I didn't do that. Well, we'll see. It seemed to be. I don't think it matters at all. So just put a little C-shaped curve line, like I said, towards the top of this, and just kind of connecting those two. Whatever you end up doing is going to be great. It doesn't matter. I do like to replicate things, so that's why I take extra looks at it, because I want to figure it out, and then we can have whatever fun we want to have with it, right? One of the project packs I was watching on YouTube, and Rick and Maria talk about that, about the rules, air quotes, that Zentangle has, and they're kind of like guidelines. And then that was Maria talking, and then Rick was saying something about, and then we get to break them, basically. And that it helps to know the rules first, and then you can have fun with them. Otherwise, it's just a mess. All right, that's my quote. All right, then you get to play with this however you want. If you want, taking a look at the blog post, the For More Inspiration link in the description section, scroll down and take a look at all of the neat ideas. So we have all of these spaces. This now becomes a reticula, because we have all of these spaces. You can put tangles in them. You can fill them in, shade them, whatever. Just some really, really beautiful examples. And also the inspiration that this came from. So really, really neat. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to follow the suggestion. And I'm going to start here. I switched to the graphic one for ease of filling things in. And I'm just going to do, I might do black, white, and I might do gray, because that was the other thing that was in the step out. So I'm going to start just with where I started with these big C shapes. And I'm going to fill in the same side as I'm looking at it this direction. I find that sometimes easiest if we're, doing something like this where you're filling in every other one. And it's fun. While I'm doing this, let me mention, again, I've already mentioned the description section like several, well, no, I referenced the step out. I didn't mention the description section but once. That's where they're at. So I always do my own version of the step out. So you will find both of those there. And then also below that, you will find a link to my link tree. So if you enjoy my goofy style, I try to be nothing but real. I don't know how to be anything else. I don't like to put on airs. I don't enjoy people that put on airs, No pretense. No, what you see is what you get. And I just find it rather fun to embrace that. So if you enjoy that, come and want to come and tangle online with me and a bunch of other crazy tanglers, we'd love to have you. Information is on my website. There's also some places on the link tree where you can follow me for such information. So what I'm going to do now is in this inner part, do the alternate of this. So also, if you happen to be on Facebook, that's where I seem to live the most. At some point I will get back to being more, I made an effort to be more present on, wait a minute. Oh, did I goof? No, I didn't. No, like, wait a minute. When I turned it, my eyeballs went, what? There was a time where I was more present on Instagram and Pinterest and posting more. I try to get on there and like things at the very minimum. But we can connect that way. If you do go to my website and you want to follow my blog, you can do that. But I have links to both my Facebook page as well as our amazing Tangle Addicts community group. So if you'd like to hang out with a bunch of tanglers, as we say, we're a little crazy, but for the most part harmless. But boy, do we enjoy tangling and just supporting each other in this wonderful art form. And so come and join us. All right. If you do decide to do that, let me tell you, there are 4 questions you must answer. I know there's always another part that I add to that, and that's what it is. But I do have the extra questions there. All right, what do I want to do? Well, you know what, let's just do it. I usually shade. Let's just do a fill-in. And you see, I'm just scribbling, and that's not the side I wanted to scribble. This is the side I wanted to scribble. Okay, so guess what? I'm going to scribble both sides. Because there are no such thing as mistakes in Zentangle. We also don't put erasers in our kits. And now, while you can, of course, there's reasoning behind it. The reasoning is, as art imitates life, and there are no erasers in life, hence, we don't put erasers in our kit. It is a challenge. I find it to be a fun challenge once you kind of get your head around it, to just be like, all right, well, there we go. And what shall we do with whatever it is that happened? Like this. Okay, guess what? I can fill in both. It doesn't matter. So it's not the way I wanted it to turn out. Well, you know, it's the when life gives you lemons, make lemonade or lemon tarts or lemon pie, so whatever that you like with lemons. It doesn't matter, but don't, unless you like lemons, period, which I do. I haven't had any in a long time. We used to cut them in half. This is Mom's fault. It'll kill the enamel on your teeth, that's for sure. But we used to eat them, cut them in half with, and no, not put sugar on them, salt. I'm weird, yes. All right. And it looks neat. It doesn't matter. We just have to, work to embrace. Now, something else that you could do, and what's fun is just thinking creatively. Something else that I could go back and do if I wanted to is, let's see, like I said, I intended to do it on this one. You know what? Actually, was that just I'm looking back because I'm thinking, no, it wasn't done that way on the, so, but anyway, I could come back with the pencil, or the pen, and I could have done, add some lines into one or the other. But you know what? I think it kind of looks cool that way. This one, I haven't done anything. But this is what it looks like if you take this as a fragment and put it in. So this is a 4 square, But as I mentioned, the tangle itself is a 4 square. So this is a 4 square within a 4 square. So you can see how neat it can look, and the meta patterns that come out through it. This kind of interesting. Oh, you know what? Let's do that. I hadn't thought about what I wanted to do, but I'm going to do this. Let's add some graphite. Let's highlight that because that is kind of neat. So if I put graphite on the inside, I was thinking because about having fun with the lines in there, and one thing that I like to do, well, is find a way to disguise them, and you can do that by just like ORing them. But this, because we have it going in bunches of directions, could also do the fan shape or add some rounding. I was thinking about adding rounding to one of the edges, so that would kind of make it look flowery. But look at that. That just made it pop right out. Oh, that's so cool. All right, I'm going to do that to the others. Now, and while I do this, if you have enjoyed this, and I hope you have, would love it if you click on the like button. And then if you haven't, if you liked it enough to see more and haven't done so already, would love to have you be a subscriber to the channel. And I haven't mentioned this in a while. I post, well, at least once a day with this daily tangle. And then when I have class replays that I get done and put out, they will come on here as well. And I share that because if you don't like your email blowing up with things, usually I turn notifications off. And it's been a while since I mentioned this. But you can turn those on or off to whatever you like. I would rather somebody be a subscriber and not get the notifications than to be annoyed by, oh, here she's posting again. And let's turn her off. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. Shading is such magic. And I'm glad that I didn't think about it until I was sharing it with you, because then you can watch the magic happen too. This is so neat because a lot of the grid patterns and things, especially where it creates, like I said, this reticula where you can do whatever you want with it. Because I especially like things like this that, in adding contrast. So if you're doing traditional Zentangle, following the method, it's just sometimes nice to have some cool patterns that are high contrast like this. And high contrast meaning lots of, filled in sections. And, it's just neat. And it adds to it's funny because a lot of people will maybe not like whatever work that they have done, and sometimes just adding a thick line, going over something with a thick line, it's amazing what it'll do. Or like I said, adding shading. It went from to, oh my gosh, look at that pops. It's like, where do my eyes go? Oh, and actually could probably, even if you wanted to, you could put some graphite around this and make these orbs show up and put that down in the background if you wanted to. Lots of options. So much fun. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, again, thank you so much for watching. I've mentioned all the stuff that I usually mention at the end, so I shall not repeat myself and save you that. So thank you again for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.